Here's how to communicate better in a marriage. This will be very important for you whether or not you're in a contractually, formally, and legally recognized union of a marriage, or if you are looking to be in that sort of dynamic relationship arrangement, or if you're never planning to be married. This communication tool set, which I will provide for you, will be applicable to any relationship that you have. In fact, if you apply this tool in all of your communication, as a communication tool set, all of your relationships with people, whether professional, individual, personal, or social, will become better as a result. A marriage brings with it a very particular set of dynamic. It is a legally and formally recognized union of two. A marriage actually is a combination of multiples of things. If you recognize yourself as a partnership, it is a marriage, except the term marriage has been recognized legally as a contracted and formally recognized union of two. So what is a communication? Communication came from the Latin word communicatio, which is to share information. Communication is actually the successful, and take a note of that word, successful sharing of information and feelings. A marriage is a combination of multiples of things, but actually is a legally, formally recognized form of a relationship. Now, because it is, I want you to listen to the key word there, legally, because it is now a personal endeavor, which is things you do in your bedroom is your personal business. The emotions and the communications that you have with somebody is your personal business. But why is it that it's come to be that it's become legally recognized? And the thing about being legally recognized is that it brings with it legalities. If you've ever been in a marriage before, or if it's your second marriage, you recognize that there are a lot of things that are legal that you have to really introspect are legalities in a marriage relationship. Leaving that alone for now, you're probably saying, well, Ron, you're in an open relationship. What do you know about marriage? I will prove to you why it is. Well, number one is that I have the number one tantra business in Las Vegas, and 30% of which is a significant amount of my clientele are married couples. Leaving that alone for now, how can you communicate better in a marriage situation? I want you to take a look at the old model of a marriage, of a relationship. Because this goes into how relationships, what is a relationship dynamic that you actually have in a marriage? Why is it that a marriage, which is a personal endeavor, a combination of your love, why is it a personal level become a legality? Now, the legal aspect of it will become very important in the way in which you communicate in a marriage situation. The old model, there's a new show on Netflix which reminded me of this, which is called Bridgerton. Check it out, and the first episode, and see if it's something you're into. It's the number one show in the US as of right now on Netflix. But in that show, it shows the old paradigm of dating and marriage. The old model is a male would court a woman, and then they would be dating. Not very long, in fact, in the old model. They would date. To date is to mean that you would see someone on specific dates. And when you successfully date, when you have several consecutive dates that you've seen each other, you are now considered as dating. Specific dates, you are now dating. And then which transitioned into a marriage. If you want to know more about how relationships have come to be and how marriages exist and why marriage exists in relationships despite its being actual personal endeavor and recognized as legalities, check out Relationships 101 on Amazon by Ron John, Ronejohn. In the old paradigm of marriage, you would date. To date would be for the woman to check off the boxes to see if the man were a suitable provider male. That is the old dating paradigm, and it really exemplifies that in that show. You have to see it. It's an old time. I don't know what year it was, but old paradigm of the way relationships are. The new dating model is very, very, very recent in human history. And the new dating model is you wouldn't follow the old dating model. You would just see somebody whether or not you got married. In fact, virginity was prized for a very long time. I'm not gonna go why. See my other videos for the reason why virginity was so prized. But virginity was prized for a very important reason. But nowadays, we don't require virginity for any other reason unless you have some fucked up psychology about relationships. You don't require someone to be a virgin before you got married. But in the old model, they would need to be a virgin. Otherwise, they'd be stoned in front of that family's house, the woman's family's house. So the new dating model, the new model relationship is that we see somebody, we don't get married. What's the best time to get married? When it's convenient. Now we don't follow that. We have somebody who's a live-in partner who we see for quite a long period of time, and then whenever it's convenient for the both of you, you get married, if you're getting married. So because now you have a clear idea of why marriage is existing and what is the difference between the dynamics. Remember, a relationship is how you interact and interface with people. It's not immediately monogamous. Relationship is how you interact and interface with people. So whatever the relationship is, whether it be open, whether it be a threesome, whether it be a closed open relationship or a monogamous relationship, whatever it is, it's a relationship that you have, how you interact and interface with that person. How can you now communicate better with any relationship that you have, especially in a marriage? Because the word legal union is there, and it'll make more sense to you as to why. There are 3 formats in which humans and you and I communicate with other people. 3 formats and 3 levels of clarity. The first level of clarity is where everything, well, not everything, most things are presumed. To presume something is to say, to suppose something to be true based on probability. Is to say, probably this is true. That is what it means to presume. Most communication, the level 1 of communication is when most things are presumed. This is the communication that you have with your pet, because there's the agreement or the understanding, the appreciation for both, that one is the master and one is the pet. My pet cat understands I'm its master, and I understand I am its master. And none of which requires words. Do you understand? None of the agreements or the recognition requires explicit communication. Explicit meaning clear words. The other level, level 2 of the way in which we humans communicate, is when nothing is presumed, everything is detailed, such as a relationship you have with a business partnership or your employer. Your employer says, hey, here's the contract. I want you to sign this, but before you sign it, I want you to agree that this is your responsibility. You will do this, you will do this, you will provide this, and in exchange for this, we will provide you an exchange of value, commonly money. We'll pay you bi-weekly or bi-monthly or a salary, whatever the agreement is. Do you agree to that? This is clear. I agree to it. I will sign it, recognizing that I understand the communication. Almost nothing is presumed, especially in the good business model. Nothing is presumed. Everything. Have you ever seen those manuals of communication? Why do you have such a thick manual? It's because to have clear communication. Humans, on the level 3, is that humans communicate in between that, where a lot of things are presumed and not very many things are clear. And all of your communication and all of your relationships will stand to become better, especially in a marriage agreement, when more things are clear and less things are presumed. If you want to know, I even go as far as to have contracts of appreciation. If you want to know more about that, go to greatrelationshipsyou.com. I have a 4-hour course on how to have relationships. Share this video and leave a comment below. See you next time.